So I've already tried to record this once and it was an hour long, and I had tested the levels of the volume and all of that good stuff, and it ended up just being so distorted and really difficult to listen to. So we're going to try this again. So with me, because I'm so private, I have had a hard time recording this, but sometimes it's good to just talk, and a lot of from talking can be incredibly healing, not only for you, but for other people. So I just figured, let's just have a conversation. Hopefully, you guys can chill for a little bit, maybe throw some headphones on or earpods and grab yourself a drink or do whatever you need to do and just let's have a conversation. So I know a lot of people that come onto this channel are sensitives, and that's spiritually gifted in whichever way you are. We all have our own gifts, and we tend to attract all different types of people, and especially with empaths, because empaths are healers, and we are like a burning flame, and a moth is attracted to that flame. And moths aren't bad, it's just an expression, but we tend to attract people who are broken or who need some guidance, or maybe their inner spark had called for us to come into their life to help them go onto the path that they were destined to be on. And they'll always end up on that path, but we're all here to help guide each other onto that path. We're all here to shine a light, say, go down that one, the one with that tree, with the apples on it. Maybe apples wasn't the best analogy, but a fig tree. Go down the path down there where I'm shining the light. And then it's done. And sometimes that's all we're needed for, is just to enter somebody's life quickly and exit their life quickly. And I know a lot of times it's hard for us to accept that, because we're looking for love that will be there, or we have some type of expectation to fill our wounds, because we all have wounds, and until we learn to conquer them and conquer our doubts and demons and addictions, and addictions can mean anything. It doesn't have to be substances. It can be people addicted to drama, addicted to love, addicted to being hateful, whatever. And so until we learn to conquer those addictions, we will seek out people who fulfill our addictions, I guess, to fulfill our ego, to make us feel like we're worthy, to validate what our programming says, what we've been taught throughout the years, what we've learned and accumulated through circumstances. And so until we master that, we will be inviting that in. And so it's when we run into people who we know were in their life for a reason, just remember they're in our lives for a reason as well. And so when things end with energetic vampires or people that are not as evolved as us, we can take that kind of stuff personally, and It's not personal. It's actually a gift. It's actually given to us for a reason so that we can acknowledge the things in our lives that are keeping us stuck. You know? And a lot of people will be attracted to us to dim our light as well. And I know with people that are sensitive to energies and people that can like see souls and see the good in people, sometimes that can get us into sticky situations because we see the good and the light in what people's potentials are. And a lot of us tend to stick around a little too long, and it starts to suck our energy, and it starts to exhaust us and make us confused. And being sensitives like us, we have to kind of learn where to draw the line sometimes. And it's okay when you don't draw the line, just as long as you end up drawing it eventually, right? I think the biggest gift in bad situations is if you're true and honest with yourself and honest with the situation, and you truly are giving from your heart and not your addictions of needing to be loved or accepted, and you're just giving because you truly love and you truly want to see that person, the situation grow and evolve no matter what, then you've done your job. And if the situation or the people involved choose to not grow or appreciate why you're in their life or why you're in each other's lives, if they can't see that, or even if you can't see that, then there's a separation that has to happen. You have to go separate ways. We're always brought to each other for a reason. And overextending ourselves to ungrateful people is only going to do us more damage. The last experience I've had in the last 3 months, I didn't listen to my intuition, but I knew from day one that this was going to be a bad situation for me. But I didn't listen, and I kept trying. And so just so you know, I have been into spirituality for 10 or 11 years now. I've always been into spirituality, actually. I've always been connected to the other side. But I got really, really deep into it 10 or 11 years ago. And I haven't been in a relationship for 9 years, and I've been celibate for 7. But for the last 10 or 11 years, I've really gone deep into my spirituality. And I think a lot of people don't realize is, well, spiritual people do, but people that are just getting into it or that just aren't spiritual at all, they just look at it as like, oh, okay, you have feathers in your hair and you like crystals and wow, woo woo. But it's not like that. Like, as we all know, or most of us know, at least that are hearing this, but for the people that don't know, it's not something where you just choose to be enlightened or choose the path of, the chosen ones or whatever you want to say. It's not like we just wake up one day and it's like that. No, this is a journey. Everyone's life is a journey. We all have our own experiences. We all take in things certain ways and form this like ego, as protection. Our egos are there to protect us. It's also there to kind of break through one day. We were born as innocent babies, clear, pure, and then we go through life and we start to accumulate all these walls and all this negativity or all this self-protection. We go into self-protection mode. And then we start to live our lives through that false premise of what we've acquired through our entire existence on this planet in this one life. But of course, we've gone through so many lives, some of us more than others, and so we have all the subconscious things going on that we don't even remember. That is actually part of our ego as well. And so we act certain ways that aren't even us. It's just a byproduct of our experiences, right? Through many lifetimes. And so when they say this world is it's a library, it's a learning, it's where we learn and evolve, yeah. We come in pure, we get tainted by life experiences, and then for many of us, hopefully more and more, we learn to break free from all this false identity that we've attached ourselves to. And then once we break free, that's when life starts again, where we're being authentic. We're able to express love again. We're able to be pure in our hearts again and do things for the betterment of humanity and ourselves and evolution. So I'm just looking at my notes here. So these past 3 months for me have been confusing. And it's been like an experience where I'm like, there's no way that I'm in this experience with people. And I deserved any of this. Like, what is the real reason for all of this? What is the reason for all of this? Instead of feeling the victim and poor me and why did I experience all of this by somebody I trusted, by the way. Like, there has to be a bigger meaning, right? Like, what is the bigger meaning from all the things that have happened to you? Like, instead of blaming other people or yourself, it's like, why is this happening? And for me, I really learned, like, I went on a tangent. So basically what I was saying before I move on is, being spiritual isn't just something that you wake up one day and you're all of a sudden like pure and in the light. No, we have many tears, many feelings, many emotions. When you start to focus on your past lives, when you focus on this life, when you focus on, because we have to shine the light on our pain. We can't just shut it in a closet and pretend it's not there. No, it's going to be there. Once you open that door, it's there. It's always there. We have to shine the light on it and heal it and release it and learn different techniques on how to release this energy and circulate this energy. We need to face the pain of certain situations in our lives that are so hard. Deceit from other people, lies, people picking on us, being bullies, laughing at us because we're open and loving. And, instead of feeling like a victim, we have to take our power back and ask, why did this happen to me? What did I learn from this? What did I gain? Instead of focusing on what I lost or what could have been. And it takes many years, in most cases, to do this type of work. It takes diligence. It takes strength. It takes meditation. It takes patience. It takes wanting to change, wanting to be a part of the light, wanting to help humanity, wanting to create love instead of hate and disarray, wanting to create balance and harmony, and wanting that so much that we actually do it. We take the reins, we hop on the saddle, and we go. And we don't stop. And it's painful. Because what that means is we're going to start facing things we didn't even know exists in our subconscious. And that's going to bring up a lot of pain. And people don't realize that all of that pain, all of so say you were just like, for me, I was totally different years ago. I just so different. A jerk. I was a jerk. I was an asshole. I would say things without thinking about people's feelings. Sometimes I still do. I don't mean to, but like it was more of a negative way that I used to do it. I built up all these walls. I got burned so many times in the past, and I just built up all these walls, and it took me many years to open up my heart chakra again. Many years. About 4 years to open up my heart chakra. And in this recent experience I had, I opened my heart up, and because I was celibate for 7 years, and I actually saw a spark in this individual, and I truly did love that person's soul. And I got laughed at for opening up about that. And instead of closing down, yes, I did get mad, and yes, I said a lot of hateful things in that moment for 4 days actually, but I was purging out everything, and it's fine. We're allowed to purge sometimes. But what did happen for me was when I started to ask myself, what did I learn from this? Because there was so much that happened in the past 3 months, and it was so disrespectful to me, and I never deserved any of this. And what I realized is how much patience I had inquired for the past 10 years, how different I reacted in the situation, how loving and open I was, even though I saw a lot of bullshit that was happening. I still kept my heart open and my faith, and, being an empath, I saw this person's potential and the ability for them to be on their path. But they didn't see that about themselves because they chose to go backwards. And that's okay. Because I was put in that person's life to show that there's a different way. You don't have to be in a toxic environment. There are people there that are at a higher vibration, and, I did my best to show this person that, and in turn, I got stepped on, left out in the cold, and thrown to the wolves. And of course it hurt, but I started to ask myself, like, how can I get over this, because this is just keeping me stuck and I can't continue to think about what I did wrong or whatever, blah, 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 whatever happened. No blaming. I know I am on the right path and I'm putting people's lives because I'm a light worker, as many of us are here. And we have to forgive when people don't see things in that moment. They will see it eventually, and they'll be grateful for it in the future, even if they're not right now. And all we can do is forgive and thank. Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. Because everything is put into our path for a reason. Nothing happens because it's not supposed to. There's always divine intervention in everything. There's no consequences, right? And once I started to forgive all of the nasty stuff that happened to me, and knowing I'm an earth angel and how whack that treatment was, and then also how I allowed it and how I ignored my intuition. I mean, I had done a lot of tarot reads and also watched a lot of tarot reads, and there was a consistent message in each of them, and I constantly asked this person about it, and they denied, of course, and it ended up being true. I found out by the person that I was actually asking about, but I didn't know exactly who it was, even though I did. And I could hate that person for the rest of my life. And what would that do? It would just keep me stuck in that energy. And I figured the only way that I can release this is to forgive, and to love and be grateful that I was able to come into this person's life and give them a little bit of light in the darkness of what they have been living in and choose to live into this day, and hopefully they'll get out of. But I truly feel that, I was put there to show this person that, there is another way. And also to show myself how much I've changed and grown through all the tears and the pain from all the healing that I've been doing for the past 10, 11 years. It showed me how much I've grown and how I don't react like I used to, and how much patience I have now, and how open my heart is now, and how giving I am now. And yeah, I put up with too much shit, and that's something that I learned too. Have some self-respect, know when to put the stick in the sand and draw the line. And I learned that. I hope, somebody else could come along. I'll be tested again, and hopefully this time it doesn't last as long. But this time it was a lot shorter than in the past, but I figured after 9 years of being single and 7 years of being celibate, I might get something special. And it felt special for a very short time, and then everything just changed. And that's just life. That's just more tests for it to see. Like, are you sure you've gotten past this? And then the other people, and whatever your situation is, then they'll hopefully, in my situation as well, hopefully they will learn and they will recognize their lessons. If not, well, that's not your problem. It's not my problem, right? Because we're really the only ones that exist in our reality anyway. These people are just players. We're all just players on a chessboard. But nothing ever happens that isn't supposed to happen. Some people say like, oh my God, I wasted so much time. I was with the wrong person. I was at a horrible job for so many years. I wasted all my time. And it's not ever like that. That's when you become the victim. That's when we choose to be the victim, because we're constantly just, I wish I didn't do this. I wish I did this. Or, it's like, no, we were put there because there's things that we needed to accomplish. We needed to speak to other light workers, or there was people there that were having a hard time in their life and they needed our light. They needed our enthusiasm and love to help get them through. Even just being in light workers' presence is healing. So feel like a gift. Walk your life like you're a gift. Like you're welcome. But then also thank you for being here, because you're a gift too. Just be in that light, be the gift to the world, because we are. Everyone's a gift to each other in some way, even if somebody is just absolutely horrific. Did we walk out with dignity? Did we do the right thing? Did we love unconditionally? Were we open to the people even though we knew they weren't necessarily on the right path? Did we still give people chances to be themselves? Are we able to sleep at night because we were a good person and we did what Spirit wanted us to in that moment? All of that are the lessons that we need to remember and to focus on when we get into situations that we feel don't necessarily reflect our spark. Or our morals, or, So let me look on here and see if there's anything I forgot. And just remember, if people laugh at you for being open and being spiritual or being loving or, being vulnerable, like what I had just experienced, I was being vulnerable. And that's what the point I was coming in with in the beginning with, how long it takes for spirituality, for us to actually start to heal our wounds. It really was so disrespectful to me, because I had spent so many years opening up my heart and learning how to love again. And I was, single and celibate for so many years. And then the first person I contact laughs at me for being open and spiritual. And they pretended to be spiritual in the beginning. And there's a lot of frauds out there. You have to be careful, because if they know you're spiritual, they're going to go buy a crystal and they're going to be like, hey, I'm spiritual too. And then you're going to be like, really? Cool. We have so much in common. And then they end up changing. And this is kind of what happened to me too. It's like, I know this person has a potential, but I think they overplayed what they felt I would like to hear. And so it's really frustrating when people diss you or downplay your love or your I can't think of the word, but it's just some people are just, they haven't done the work, so they don't realize how hard it is to get past certain things. And I try to tell people, I tell them, my heart used to be closed. I did so much work on myself, but people don't understand what it takes until they actually go through it. And I'm trying to think of that Bible verse. I'm going to slaughter it, I'm sure, but it was something like, forgive those because they know not what they see or something like that. It's like they don't know until they've actually experienced it. And so that's when you know if people are not on the same level as you, is when they don't actually like give you that respect of all the work you've put in to heal yourself and to grow, and just for somebody to come and just slander you. It's pretty disgusting how people can be like that, but again, if they're not experienced, then they don't know. They just don't get it. And that's where forgiveness comes from, right? Or that's one of the ways that you can forgive people by being so foolish, is understanding that they're just not on the same page. Not everybody is meant to come with us. Not everybody is meant to come with us. You're either chosen or you're not. And the thing is we choose if we're chosen. Some people think, for some reason I want to say the 4,400, but there's more than that. But you know what I'm saying? Like the chosen ones. But we choose. We choose. We have free will. We can choose to go on the path of love and light and growth and help to transmute the energy into higher vibrations out of this mess that we're in. Or we can choose to ignore it and stay in our ego and just continue doing toxic behaviors and being in toxic relationships and having toxic outlooks. And some people think that's the easier way because that's all they know. That's all they've grown up around is toxicity. So whenever somebody of the light and love comes in, they don't know how to handle it. They think it's weird. And they think that's the easier way, is I just want to go and be with all these toxic people and still do my drugs and, play the field and hurt people's souls and play games. And they're so young spiritually that they don't realize that that's why they have anxiety all the time. That's why they're depressed all the time. That's why they're stressed. That's why they're losing money. That's why they're losing their houses. Because they're fucking on the wrong path. They're not on the path of the light. They're on the path of the dark. Sabotage. Creating chaos. All of that is going to lead to mental anguish. And people just don't get it. But they, that's what people like us come in for, especially empaths. Empaths raise the mirror to people. And it's because we feel energy, right? We react to it in the same way that they put it toward us. And so it's raising a mirror to them. And then they don't like that, of course. But it's a lesson. If they're smart enough, they'll realize, holy shit, you literally just did the same thing to me, or I deserve that, if they're smart enough. But a lot of people just aren't. And, the people that aren't smart enough, we have to realize that if we're constantly feeling confused, or we're being put in limbo, and certain people and situations are keeping us stuck, it starts to take away our life force energy, because we're not grounded. We're not grounded to earth. We're not elevated to spirit. Our energy becomes distorted. And then that allows for the negative energy to come in and cause chaos. And so, as important as it is to be in people's lives who need our spark, if they're not willing to see why you're there and what good you are and how you're there to help them or how they're there to help you or something positive. They're just going to create chaos. And like some people just don't know how to live in happiness. They're afraid of it. And a lot of times those people will be attracted to people of the light because they want to siphon their energy. And if people of the light continue to allow that, our energy will be siphoned, and then the darkness will start to take heed. And that is the devil's plan. And the devil isn't a Christian belief or a religious belief. At least in my eyes, it is an energy. It's all energy. And the darkness can't survive in the light, so it wants to diminish it. And the darkness lives within people because they can't see the way out. Some people can, and they choose not to go toward the light. Some people just choose because they're afraid, or that's all they know, like I said before. And so it's important for us to know when to draw the line and to get out. It's like, all right, my time here is done. This has expired. I'm going to the exit door now. Have a good life. So when you start feeling confused and ungrounded and in limbo, that's the devil's work. That's the darkness's work, because it's trying to take yours away so it can create more darkness. And so us being light workers, we need to know when enough is enough. When our time is expired and it's time for us to move on, so that we don't become one of those entities that siphon other people's energy. Because energy, positive and negative energies, it's fluid. It's fluid. And so if we're not careful, we can go backwards. If we're smart, we'll go forwards. And so to know the signs of if people are making a mockery of you because of your love and your light, or if they're causing confusion in your life constantly and they're always making chaos in your life, that's when you have to go. It's like, okay, have a good life. I hope you learned from me, I learned from this experience. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I forgive you. All of that, So I think I pretty much went over everything I wanted to. I did want to, I hope you guys are doing well, by the way. Thank you for listening to me if you made it this far. We will be pulling some more tarot. I got a couple new decks. I'm really excited about them. Really excited. One of them is 18 and up. There's a lot of nudity on it. But then the other one, it's called the Muse Tarot. It's beautiful. Look it up. So the one thing I did want to request for you maybe to do is, which I've already known, my North Node, but I'm been really pulled to research it more, because our South Node is like what we're comfortable doing. It's what our past life was, our energy was in our past life, our South Node. And our North Node is what we want, what we need to focus on so that we can grow and expand. And so find your South Node and your North Node online. You have to know, I'm pretty sure you have to know, because you need to know the house that the planet's in. And so you need to know the time of birth, the place, and obviously the date. And that will, if you type that into tropical astrology, it'll give you your North Node and South Node. It'll actually give you your whole chart, but look for those. And the North Node is something that it's going to be uncomfortable for you, because that's what we need. We need to get out of our comfort zones in order to grow. The south node is what we're usually comfortable with. And so, for example, my south node is in my third house, and it's Aquarius. And so it's about how in my past life, and I tend to do this in this life, is I observe a lot, and I'm always thinking of ways to heal humanity. And with it being in my third house in my past life, I was never like involved in groups. Like, I've always been really kind of an outcast, because my ideas are very Aquarian as far as like thinking of innovative ways to help humanity, and try to think of different things, get outside of the box so we can change things. But people are so hive mind, and so it's like, no, all of these people have their groups and they'll have their own beliefs. And so whenever I would be like, well, why don't we try this? People would be like, no, you're weird. Like, you're going to screw up our whole thing. Like, so I would be like, well, I'm out then. I'm not going to sit here and conform to your beliefs, because I don't believe in what you believe. And it's very similar to how I am now. It's like, I was kind of exiled out of groups, but I self-exile. I was like, I'm not going to stay here. I'd rather be by myself and have my own beliefs and share my knowledge with other people who want to hear it. And so that's very much how I am now. That's where I'm comfortable, is kind of sticking to myself, but speaking when I need to, and planting seeds. But your south node is something that you need to try to not be so ingrained with, because we're trying to get out of that karmic cycle. That's our past life. We're trying to move forward. So your north node is going to be the opposite sign of your south node. And so the opposite sign of Aquarius is Leo. And that's my north node. And so instead of being so involved with groups and trying to think of the world and how to change it in innovative ways, Leo, I'm supposed to move forward with my truth with no fear, not caring about how people feel about me or think about me, and shining in my own light by myself without having these groups, and doing it and expressing my knowledge to other people. And I found that really interesting, because I really didn't want to make this video because I'm so private. And that's my Aquarius part. But I was also like, I really would like to speak about it, because one, it's healing for me, and also I think other people could relate. And so that's the Aquarius. But I still was like, but I don't know. But then the Leo with the north node, and I've been doing tarot and everything, and it's all been like, look at your astrology, look at the north node, pay attention to your north node. And so I feel like y'all should do that as well, because like for me, it's like, mine's Leo. It's like, just speak your truth. You rule your own domain. You can say whatever the hell you want to say with no consequences. Well, there's going to be consequences sometimes if you say too much, but, just be selfish, but also like just be shining and do your thing with no fear. And that's that Leo north node. And I'm like, I can dig it. I get along with Leos very well. I love Leos. I have Leo in my north node, and so that's what motivated me as well, besides spirit constantly nagging me to do this. But is that Leo. It's like, it's time to be that Leo, be fierce. And so that's why I felt called to do this. Even though I was kind of uncomfortable with it, I didn't really say too much of what has happened to me in the past 3 months, but it hasn't been fun. It's been really whack. But, you just, when you go through hard times like that, you just have to, ask yourself, how can I get through this? What lessons did I learn? And how can I forgive this? Or better yet, let me just forgive this. Let me forgive myself. Let me forgive them. Let me forgive the whole situation, because I know there's a higher power that was leading this. But also know when to separate yourself. So that's one thing I didn't do. I didn't separate myself when I should have, but at least it wasn't years and years that I, stayed in it. It was only a couple months. So that's not bad. But, instead of being the victim, take your power back and forgive the whole situation and figure out, what did you learn and how did it make you stronger, and hold on to that. And then tell your story, and shine and keep healing, and don't let these speed bumps and these hurdles get in your way. Just look at it as making you stronger, like lifting weights, or every time I jump this hurdle, I'm going to be able to jump the next time an inch higher of a hurdle, and I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to kill it every time. Why? Because I was put into that situation by Spirit to work my spiritual muscles, to get stronger, so that I can ascend, and so that I can pass this life into another life and be confident and fierce and strong and smart and in the know and the now and the light, and take other souls with us. There's not going to be any pulling us down to the darkness. No. We all have our part to keep us up and to keep us strong. And that's what we're all here for, to help each other out. But you also have to help yourself out and to know when it's time to leave. When time is up, it's time to move on to a different batch of knowledge, experiences, and all of that, So if you're still with me, I really appreciate you for listening. I'm going to get out of here. I really wish you all much, much love. I appreciate you so much for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like the video. And we'll be seeing you soon. Much love.